We'll have more analysis on that story later on, right here on PM News. But in the meantime, there's been a lot of talk around ratings agencies and the South African economy, and this comes after Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene delivered the 2015 budget speech, and Standard & Poor's has welcomed the budget but said implementation of the promises to cut spending was important. Of the major three agencies, that is S&P and Fitch Ratings, will next review South Africa in June, while Moody's has not yet given a timeline. The government has been given 3 months to improve to rating agencies that it will rein in the public sector wage bill, cut spending and raise taxes to avoid South Africa's credit ratings being cut to junk status. And to talk about this, we are joined by Nerina Visser, who is board member of the Chartered Financial Analysts, right here on PM News. Thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks, Colin.
All right. Finance Minister last week said that the budget is done in the interest of South Africans and their well-being, not to appease ratings agencies. So does it really matter what ratings agencies say?
Unfortunately, yes, it does. And I think his focus is absolutely right. His focus should be on doing the right thing for the people of South Africa and for the South African economy. But when you look at the role of the ratings agencies, they look at how government manages its finances. And really, the primary purpose of the ratings agencies is really to assess the credit worthiness of any debt instrument. So whether it is a financial market product that is being evaluated, or whether it is the sovereign debt of a country like South Africa, that's really what they're there to do, is to say, what is the likelihood that this particular institution will be able to repay the debt? And that's really where the analysis comes in. And I think we've got this undue focus on what the outcome of the process is, whereas there should be a lot more focus on the process itself and what are all the different factors that they evaluate and look at when they do the ratings analysis.
But can we say a country like South Africa should be on the brink of junk status given the prevailing atmosphere is not comparable to last year this time? We had the strike in the platinum belt last year. There was tension among negotiations in the steel and engineering sector. Can we really say the current account deficit of this country and also just the prevailing atmosphere really brings us to that level?
Clearly, we are in a very different place than we were a year ago, but I think you raise such an important point, and this is that the whole process of the credit rating agency is quite a complex and multifaceted process. To reduce that entire analysis that they do down to a single thing, which is the rating, or for example, then is it investment grade or is it junk bond, that really minimalizes a lot of the effort that goes into it. And I think the focus should be a lot more not just on that final result or that outcome, but rather what is the verbiage around what they say? How do they assess the overall risks? Because clearly there are certain things that are in our favor and then other things that are not in our favor. And I think it's so important to look at this on a more comprehensive basis and not just look at this term right at the end that says what is our rating, and even worse, just focus on are we junk or are we investment grade. That's just not fair, I think, in terms of the assessment.
All right, sorry about it. I'm getting a frog in my throat when I have to talk about their credibility. Who are they to say that we are junk?
Exactly. So I think this is something that's been with us since the global financial crisis of 2008, where credit ratings agencies themselves have come under the spotlight to say exactly that. Who are they to tell us what this is all about? And I think this goes hand in hand with investors placing undue reliance on the ratings that the ratings agencies come out with. So I think this is as much a reflection on investors and how they make decisions as it is on the credibility of the ratings agencies themselves. So since 2008, there's been a lot of effort that have been done by the likes of the CFA Institute that say, how do we ensure that the credibility of the ratings agencies are what it should be? And for example, some of the things that they focus on there is to say, do they have an independent executive level compliance officer? Because ratings agencies are essentially not, they are independent for-profit companies. They are not regulated. They don't belong to a regulatory body with some sort of code of conduct. So IOSCO, the International Organization for Securities Coordination, have also also created a code of conduct that says this is something that ratings agencies should also subscribe to. So a lot of effort have been made to say maybe the ratings agencies should themselves become a group of self-regulatory bodies that actually can check on one another, because at the moment there's a massive reliance placed on their ratings without really any regulatory oversight to say that what they do and how they do it is actually good and right.
And just before you go, if they are independent, are they able to be consistent in their empirical research that a country can be rated as such?
Yeah.
And would they contradict each other?
Yes, they could. They could very much contradict one another, because clearly this is the result of a process that they go through. And they would assess these things differently if it was all quantitatively based. So if it was a case of, your deficit may not be more than a certain percentage of GDP, if it was as simple as that, they would all arrive at the same answer. But when you're talking probabilities and you're looking at, when the bank assesses your credibility to give you another loan, they look at the probability that they think you will be able to service that loan. And that's exactly what the ratings agencies do as well. So unfortunately, they are not entirely independent. They are actually paid by governments and by companies to issue a rating on their behalf. And that's probably where one of the biggest potential conflicts of interest come in.
I smell a red there that it could be also based on emotions and sentiment towards us.
They should like us.
Maybe.
I mean, look at us. We're so likable.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'm speaking here to Nerina Visser, who is board member of the Chartered Financial Analysts, right here on PM News.